Welcome, one and all. I'm the Awesome Soul, and this is Bad D&D Advice, the show that does a quick dive into some bad advice, and we will figure out what exactly makes it so terrible. Although today's advice, air quotes, is actually going to be a little bit more meta. No, not that dystopian hellhole, but rather a meta commentary on the phrase itself. But, of course, I'll dive into what the phrase actually means. And, well, if you couldn't read the title, today we are going to be talking about that's what my character would do, or it's what my character would do, or, other various permeations of that phrase. Now, if you've been in the community for a while, I'm sure you know exactly what this means, but for those who are new here, generally, this term is used in a mocking or joking manner to refer to a player who is actively impeding the enjoyment of others. Generally, they do this by either 1. Not following the table's social rules, such as no evil characters, etc., or 2. They follow their character's flaws so far that they actively impede not only the progress of the game, but also potentially bring unwanted harm to the other characters. Now, that's not to say that those things are bad per se, but they have their place. That means you should always have a talk with your DM and fellow players when you first start playing. So, session 0. Before you actually get into the campaign, you get in and figure out how you kind of want to play your character. Are the other players okay with this? Is the DM okay with this? Is your kind of character going to impede this kind of campaign that he's building? And if so, no worries, just put that character on the back burner, save them for another game. So, who would have guessed in a game about communication skills, it's good to communicate with the other people at the table. Who would have thunk it? But Awesome Soul, what about that meta-commentary you talked about? I hear you say. Well, if you're new to D&D or just getting into it, it's what my character would do. It probably left you scratching your head before I actually described it. Because I asked a bunch of people on my Discord server who don't play D&D what they think the phrase means, and it pretty much confirmed something I've been thinking for a long time now. And put simply, the phrase sucks. It's totally useless to convey any kind of meaning or the actual true point of it without having to actually dive in and explain what it actually truly means. On top of that, the way it's generally used, the more mocking way, isn't really healthy, especially when aimed at new players. Now, the main point that really spurred this video in the first place is that a few years back, me and my fiancé were watching a video from the DM's Lair. By the way, great channel. I would recommend checking it out. Not trying to throw shade here. And, well, he brought up the term in the typical mocking way and didn't give any context for it and then, moved on to another point. So I could see on my fiancé's face that she was a little taken back by this and kind of confused. Now, I should mention, she's very into D&D. She's not like a new player or anything. She just really isn't into a lot of the online spaces that I am, and she's not really familiar with the term. Or well, she wasn't, back then at least. Of course, after explaining it to her, she understood. It made sense. But man, there has to be a better way. Because generally summing up her initial response to it, and also the various responses I got on my Discord server, pretty much this. So wait. You're saying that in a game about creating and role-playing a character that's potentially different than me, you don't want me to follow what my character would want to do? So, I guess what I'm kind of getting at with this whole end bit of the video is, can we please, as a community, come up with a better phrase, something that's more healthy and easier to understand at a glance. Let's try and brainstorm something down in the comments, and hopefully we can come up with something, because I must admit, at the current time of making this video, I don't have anything. Otherwise I would have said something. So let's try and brainstorm in the comments. Anyway, Hopefully you've enjoyed this little video. I've been the Awesome Soul. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.